What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be talking about my journey in 2024 when it comes to photography. Now, obviously I did take video and different things, and I've shared with you that sort of thing on the channel, but I'm not going to be sharing that in this video. It's mainly going to be photography, simply because 2025 is going to be a year where I'm much more focused on the video side of things. Hence the last couple of videos, or some of the videos that you may or may not have seen recently, where we've got this ground pod now, and we've also got this gimbal, so I can do a lot more video work in the future. So, moving on from that, what I want to say is thank you very much for all the support on the channel. Obviously, the channel has grown pretty quickly over the last year that it's actually been active, and we posted our first video in like the 9th of January 2024. So in that time, we've gained 140 subscribers, somewhere in the region of that, and we've also gained something in the region of 18,000 views in that time, which is absolutely mind-boggling to me. But thank you again for all the support, and I want to say Happy New Year to all of you. But without further ado, let's jump into this video and talk about my photography journey over this year. So back in 2024, we started out with a Canon 7D Mark II and a Tamron 70-300 lens, and you can see by the photos it wasn't a bad setup, but it was a little bit slow, it was a little bit sluggish, but it still got some good shots, and I really enjoyed using it. It was lightweight, it was easy to use, and I'd gotten some great shots with it in the year previous. So for me, what was the next sort of upgrade path? And that was to buy a Sigma 150-600 contemporary lens, which I still have to this day. And in honesty, I've really loved that lens. It allowed me to get a lot more closer to the subject. It allowed me to get sharper images than the Tamron. It was a lot quicker to focus. And it helped me a lot because, as I mentioned, because the focusing was so much quicker and everything like that, it made it a lot easier for me to know what I was doing wrong and to basically resolve that problem and get it right in the field, which meant that the images that I was getting started to be sharper, cleaner, and much better to edit, which meant the colours and everything else started to look a lot better. And this is where I realised at Manchester Airport that 150 is a bit too close at the viewing area sometimes. So yeah, that was the thing. But that's something that I then had to try and adapt to. Was I too close to the subject? Then I'd walk further away. If not, then I could just zoom in closer to it because I had 600. And that was a great help. It made things a lot easier and it made things a lot better. The issues started to happen when I went to the Lake District and the shutter started playing up. Now, I went to Coningsby before this and took thousands of photos in a matter of 5 days. I think it was something like 1,200 photos per day or something like that I took. And, you know, we took a lot of photos, had a great time over at Coningsby, and it was really, really enjoyable. Photographing the fast jets, the red arrows, had a practice display. We even got to see some of the BBMF out, but it was just the chipmunks. Didn't matter to me. We got a variety of weather, a variety of great shots, but my editing, looking back at it now, wasn't exactly the best. However, some of these shots turned out great, like this one, which I've literally got up on the wall. You know, this is something that I'm really, really proud of. Some of these images are my favourite, or some of these images are my favourite from this period of time. And considering the aging camera that I was using and everything else, the quality of the shots that I was able to get is mega quality. Considering the setup went from being something that was about 500 quid to add the Sigma lens, took it up to about 1,000. But even for just that money, the quality of the photos that I was able to get, the crispness, the clarity, I couldn't really ask for more. In April, this is where things started to go a bit south in terms of the 7D Mark II. I was out using it one day and I turned up, tried to use it, tried to take a photo. I was just taking a picture of a crow on a pole, and I went to take the picture and it wouldn't take the picture. I'm like wondering what's going on, this, that and the other, and the shutter curtain had folded itself up inside the camera and damaged the sensor. So I then managed to get it working again so I could shoot that day. and I managed to get some clear photos with it beforehand. However, after the fact, once it got to a certain point in one of these photos, it's not this one, it's the one of the A400, the one after this Hawk, I think. You can see all the dirt and stuff that was all over the sensor that day. I managed to clean some of the shots up and managed to salvage some of them, but that's where I changed over to the Canon R7. I ordered it, got it sorted, and never looked back, really. I mean, that picture of the REM was absolutely amazing. That was one of the first times I'd ever used the camera, and I was able to get some shots that I'd only ever dreamed about, and it was just in time for my trip to RAF Lakenheath, which honestly couldn't have been timed better. I mean, I got the camera, I literally, the next weekend, we went down there, so it was right on the time. So if it had happened any later, it would have completely screwed me over, because I would have been down at Lakenheath with a camera that I couldn't use, or I could use, but I would have had to spend hours going through, editing every little bit, and making sure that all the little things that were on the sensor and stuff were actually cleaned up. And it meant that I now had a new camera, but I now needed to learn how to use it. In the field, active, working on the camera, trying to make sure that I'm getting the settings right and everything like that was quite difficult, but very rewarding, because as you can see by some of the pictures I managed to get, by the end of the week, I'd honed it in, I dialed the settings in, I got the settings on the lens right, and things were looking great. So I managed to capture some of my absolute favourite images of QuickTime Friday. I managed to capture some of my favourite images ever of these jets. I've been down to Lakenheath a couple of times, and this blew it out the water by miles. Just in general, it was absolutely an incredible time to be there, to do all the photography, and to see the Panthers, I think it was, come back in 2 teams of 6 was absolutely incredible. I've never seen anything like it, but a 6-ship formation just looks incredible, man. And then we got the Aurora, which I then purchased the 24-105 f4 to 7.1 Canon RF lens. I traded the Tamron 70-300 in at that point to buy this RF lens, and I got some incredible shots with it of the Aurora. I also got some incredible shots with it when we went to a few other places, and the Canon R7's pre-capture got me some shots that I've never ever thought I would ever be able to capture, of the swallows and kingfisher and many, many more. It just meant that I was starting to get images that I never dreamt of before. And then it just got better and better, because the more I got used to the camera, the better I got utilising it and getting the settings right. And then they released some firmware updates, which made the camera even better. I mean, then I ended up with this mesh array shot, which ended up on the board at Mountain Mere, along with this woodpecker shot, which also ended up on the board at Mountain Mere from the entry to the competition that I entered there. And out of thousands and thousands of entries, I got 2 photos on display on the board, which to me was just absolutely incredible. It blew my mind that that was a thing that had happened. And obviously you saw the list of places that we've been to over the year at the beginning. The Osprey was at Leighton Moss. We didn't know what it was at first. We saw this big bird flying around above us, and we were like, what is that? That looks like some kind of hawk or whatever. Next thing you know, it crashed into the water. Kaboom, massive splash, water everywhere, and the whole hide lit up going, Osprey, like shouting it. And it was just incredible. Again, low level was amazing. Being able to see the Chinooks and the Typhoons, the F-15s go through low level at speed was amazing to watch. And unfortunately, I didn't see any F-35s myself. One of the days I went, we actually had 23 passes, I think it was, and I missed about 14 in the morning, which were all F-35s. So just typical, you know. The one time I wanted to be there, my bike wouldn't start, so I ended up being later than I wanted to be. And the one thing I missed was the F-35s because they all went early morning. So it's just one of them things. Sometimes you can get it right. You can get it right. Sometimes you just got to be in the right place at the right time to get the shot that you want. But you've got to be out in the field to do that. And that's something that has been a really big part of this year for me, is getting out in the field with my brother or on my own, getting out there. So if something does happen, that I am actually there when it does happen, which is a big thing. And we went to the Blackpool Air Show, saw the Red Arrows and Moggy and a bunch of other things flying. It was just incredible to watch, and I'll never forget the moment that my mum and dad got to experience Moggy coming in at full speed across the beach. It was just amazing to watch their faces light up when that happened, because it was just something completely different. It's so fast. It's so loud as well compared to everything else. I mean, it just was everything else out the water, really. I mean, you know, the one thing that happened to me, not 2024, but 2023, is the typhoon came in and started Southport Air Show, and everything else paled in comparison afterwards. And then the Red Arrows didn't even turn up that year because of the rain. But, you know, it happens. These things do, you know, happen from time to time. But one thing I will say is being out there in the field, improving my photography, being able to hone my editing skills and everything like that has been a massive part of this year. And over this year, it's just got better and better because the editing process has changed. It's been streamlined. It's gotten better. It's faster. I can call a lot more images now. Whereas, you know, with a 7D, I was taking like 1,000 images and it would take me 3 weeks to go through it or something. I can now whittle that down a lot quicker. I may not be posting as many images, but I know what is better for me, what is more my style, and I know that that image isn't sharp or that one is a lot quicker than I did used to. So it's just practice what you kind of preach sort of thing. Again, being at the right place in the right time is really important when it comes to wildlife photography, because if you're not at the right place at the right time, you won't see that action happening. For example, a kingfisher expelling a pellet, that kind of thing. I've managed to capture one image of that this year, which I was very, very happy with, don't get me wrong, but I didn't quite capture the moment when I wanted to capture it, so I was a little frustrated, but the image is still good. So it's one of them. Sometimes you've just got to be in the right place at the right time, but also when it comes to it, you've got to be out there. You've got to go out there and do your thing to make this sort of thing happen. And again, I'll never forget the experience where I first saw the barn owl flying and hunting, quarter in the field for the very first time. It was just mind-blowing to watch. My face lit up, I was on my own, and it came flying across the field straight at me, and I couldn't believe my eyes. I just stood there and watched it. And you know, that kind of moment, that experience is why we do this. And those moments will forever be in my mind. Those moments will forever be a part of my life. And there has been so many options, so many times that I've messed a photo up or I've got it wrong or whatever else. And people wonder why we take thousands of photos every time we go out. And that's the reason. Sometimes you do get it wrong. Sometimes you do mess it up. And to get another chance, you have to be out there again to, you know, to make sure that you're there in the right place, to get the right image, to get the images you want. And sometimes it's difficult to do that. Sometimes it is hard, especially with the job and working and the light being crap and whatever else. Sometimes it is virtually impossible to make that happen. But then again, one day I turned up to a marsh and within half an hour I saw two shotted owls that were flying around for half an hour. I got a couple of pictures and then it went dark to the point where I couldn't see anything. So I had to go home at that point. But I spent half an hour or 20 minutes watching these owls fly around and hunt. And it was amazing. But I only got a couple of pictures. And that's just how it goes sometimes. But one thing I'll always remember throughout this year is the support that has been given from on the channel, the places I've been to, the photos I've been able to capture, and the moments and memories that I've made with those that have been around me at the time. You know, me and my brother went to Coningsby and Lakenheath and Mildenhall. We also went to Mere and Lump Meadows and a few other places. And one of the times at Lump Meadows, we literally turned up. It never stopped raining the entire time we were there. And we were hoping in the evening it would stop. And it didn't. And we were hoping before the light dropped, it would stop raining. And it just kept raining. We were sat in the car for like 2 hours and just didn't actually get out to photograph anything because the rain never stopped. And that's just how it goes. In this country, the UK, it is hard to be in the right place at the right time with the weather on your side sometimes. And again, that gives you the motivation and drive to go out again and go back. Whereas the photos you're seeing at the moment in Ventura, the weather wasn't a problem. The lighting was because it was so bright. But I managed to get some photos of bald eagle, peregrine falcon, Eurasian eagle owls, and more. And it was amazing to watch them. But obviously these are captive birds, which for me is a little disappointing. But obviously it's just great practice to be able to shoot at a peregrine falcon, knowing that if you ever get the chance to see one in real life and it's doing the dive thing, you know you can keep up with it, because I managed to over there. So practice is definitely key, and consistency is definitely key when it comes to editing your images. And moving forward, I'm going to be trying my best to give you guys as many tips and tricks as possible, reflect on the year ahead, and I'm going to be doing a lot more video work as well, which is why I bought the gimbal, which you saw earlier. And some of the photos that I've been able to get in December were just absolutely incredible, like this kingfisher and the barnacle shots that I got as well. December really went out this year with a bang, and 2024 really ended in a great way. At Mountain Mere, seeing the barnacle for the very first time after visiting 8 times without seeing it. On the 8th time, I finally got to see it, and I got some of my favourite ever shots of a barnacle, including one that is so sharp. I could not believe it, and I still can't believe it today, that's some of the shots that I was able to get. So hopefully you guys have really enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And hopefully there'll be more videos coming very soon. There's quite a few in the pipeline. And that's that image that the barnacle I was talking about. Absolutely lovely. But yeah, like I said, don't forget to like it and subscribe. Thank you for all the support on the channel in 2024. Hopefully it continues in 2025. I'm sure it will. And I will talk to you guys in the next one.